Welcome to Spark Plugs, brought to you by Beyond the Breaker podcast.
That sounded official.
That
I like
sounded
it.
official. Okay.
Yeah.
Spark Plugs number 3, June 17th. One, hope everybody has a great Tuesday to follow.
Oh yeah.
2, I am going to touch on, if you have not planned, there is a employee tour of the new office happening today. So get out there early this afternoon and enjoy that if you don't have it on your schedule. But as a part of all Spark Plugs episodes, we're going to talk about some things happening around Hunt Electric, the brands of Hunt Electric,
Yeah.
and have a little fun with, the people of Hunt Electric as well. So Ben,
Here's open.
why don't you lead us off?
Yeah. We've got. Last time we talked, it was I think May, and we're talking about bicycles and motorbikes. The other thing that happens in the summer, it's intern season. So, delicious.
A lot of interns.
So we've got a whole pile of interns, and it's really kind of been a great thing at Hunt. I think we've got nearly 100% conversion from folks who intern here in various positions to offers of full-time employment. I think it's a testament to how we do it, and that it's not just some throwaway internship. It's something of value. We've got a couple in the IT group working on mobile device things and cybersecurity support. There are 5 at Bear Manufacturing that are in kind of specific roles there. There's another 3 rotating positions at Bear. And I think the idea there is really to like rotate folks through so you can see all the stuff, kind of a soup to nuts, as it were, in terms of how does manufacturing happen. And it's cool jobs, cool people, great exposure. And frankly, we're building our future together. So love that stuff. I'm going to hit some safety, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about that move. So on the safety side of the house, like everybody can slice statistics and do all kind of silly stuff with that. But at the end of the day, we all know that we want to go home at least as good as when we got here today. And that's the field, that's the office, that's everybody in between. If you think back to John's episode, where John Axelson, our president and CEO, was saying, how important that is. So some numbers for the geeks out there. As of June 4, we had 1,307,058 hours of field labor, which is just mind-boggling in terms of how many humans that is to get that done. And then we've got a TRIR of 0.8.
Ben, what is TRIR?
It's almost like I knew you were going to ask that question.
I didn't read it off that sheet.
So the TRIR is about our total recordable injury rate. And it really looks at how many recordable injuries do you have per 100 full-time folks for a 1-year period. And it's a metric that we use throughout the industry, and you can slice it and dice it a million ways and go, well, electrical construction is different than electrical manufacturing, it's different than electrical service. At the end of the day, when you start to look at all those stats that OSHA keeps, we are way above average, or I should say way below average in a real positive direction. Our recordable injury rate, I think that's really like a testament. We're about a third of what the average is for most of our industry. It's huge. And, that leans on every employee out there in the field. It leans on our safety group. It couldn't happen without every apprentice, journey worker, and, field leader out there.
Yeah, it's a commitment to it, right? It's a commitment to a culture of safety. And you saw with our safety fair we had a couple weeks back, the attendance for that. There's great marketing videos from that, and kind of can see the excitement and really the involvement of everybody here. And I will say, even from a jobs perspective and chasing work, they always ask about your safety, right? And how is it? And we have great stats, but also great pages put together by the marketing team that shows why Hunt is a leader in the industry for safety. So it's important. Obviously, it's the number one important thing. Well, ask Charlie Palliser, maybe. No, that was his slip up. But same thing. It's at Bear. It's in the field. It's here. Safety is the number one thing that keeps this ball rolling for us, because people have to work safe. People have to want to know, or they need to know, that they can go to work and be safe.
Yeah. And like you say, it really helps us sell that too in your role in the business development team, to be able to stand in front of those clients and go, look, we don't just walk the walk, we don't just talk the talk. We behave that way. We walk it too. So awesome.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about the move. So for all Hunt employees, if you are moving to the Eagan office, make sure you get your work from home equipment set up. Talk to the IT department. Get their support if needed, as we will have a work from home for a week. Some people even more. Again, I think everybody should have some tasks that they were given by their team leads about getting their workstations ready.
Yep.
I know that in the BD department, ours has been sent out to us frequently and making sure we get our stuff done. So if you haven't seen that stuff and still have questions, make sure to ask your manager so you are ready to go by the end of this week.
This week, yeah.
Yeah. And then other than that, in person, June 30th.
Yeah.
We open up.
It's going to be cool
Yeah.
to see the space, see the folks. And in your group, Nathan Johnson, got to give a little shout out to that guy. His desk was an abomination, and it is clean and ready to go, and I love it.
And I don't know when he did that.
No, he snuck in under cover of darkness, no doubt.
Batman. Nathan Batman.
So, Andrew, we also do some sports here. We have a couple of like co-rec teams that goof off and do some employee engagement stuff outside of working hours. Give us an update. Give us a little teaser.
So from the Hunt Sports Center desk, we have a softball team that plays, I think, on Wednesday nights. But if you are interested in that, I believe they're always looking for players. Sam Pelzer would be the one to contact. We also have a Hunt hockey team along with a Hunt hockey game that we play every year that is in current summer off-ice conditioning. So we are working with Billy 5 days a week. If you want to be a part of the hockey team, you do have to go through the 5 days a week conditioning.
Yeah. Heavy leg day every day, I'm sure.
Correct. You'll see it. It's really it's showing off for everybody. But we do have that. So if it's something you're interested in going into next year, obviously, I think the biggest thing from that though is as a company, there's a lot of people that want to get involved and stay involved with the people they work with. So if you have something, whether it's softball, hockey, pickleball, tennis, volleyball, find ways to get involved, connect with others at the company, reach out to somebody who you might know might take the lead of that, and get involved. So it's good stuff. It keeps us active and obviously builds a little more camaraderie amongst who you work with. So
yeah, right on. I don't know if that was worthy of Sports Center, but we'll try again another time.
We do not have a top 10 built out yet.
We'll work on some web gems. Some updates for Beyond the Breaker. If anybody who's watching on the computer screen or phone, we are in the same space that we have been so far. But eventually that's going to change. I think we're going to be in this space as we move most of our function to the new office location over in Eagan. But we'll record here for a little bit longer. But we're planning for the future. So if there are maybe some things you'd like to see, literally see if folks are watching, or if there's suggestions that you have after listening to some of the audio, let's make it a good space. Let's make sure that it keeps connecting the right folks. And as always, if you have recommendations for different guests and things, let's let it rip.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to throw in a shameless plug there for the last episode that we released in kind of the traditional podcast format last week. Those apprentices, holy crap.
Yeah, I think we walked into that interview knowing that it was going to be good, just from what we were told about those three individuals. But I will say, you get a very different story from each one, all coming to the same spot. You have trade school, you have pre-apprenticeship, and you have somebody who worked non-union. Really, we got a little bit of everything that was not planned. That was just how it worked out. But you hear a little bit about
little accident.
Yeah, and you hear about their personalities, but also what they enjoy doing, why they do it, and I think an important part of it is Hunt is not Hunt without those three.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And everybody else that's in the field, and that's three apprentices that we can rely on, that we hope to have here for a long time. And whether it's apprentice, journey worker, foreman, general foreman, those are the people that make this company run.
Yeah.
And we don't give enough shout out to them. And so again, for the people that listen and like those episodes, if there are people from the field that you want brought in here to hear stories about, or just that would be great as podcast guests, please bring those to us, because we would love to have them on the show and bring them maybe out of their comfort zone, but probably not.
So far, everybody relaxes pretty well.
Yeah, it's everybody's a human being, and it's a conversation. And I think, again, we need to really unravel the importance of the field here. And it is, right, you talk about safety. Our safety score is from them.
Yep.
Okay, so
it's not you, it's not me.
Correct. And so we need to continue to bring out the stars of really Hunt Electric in that. So if there are people from the field that want to come on, brag about yourself. Just let us know. It's Beyond the Breaker? No, it's not. Tell me what the email is.
Beyond the Breaker at huntalek.com.
All right, I knew what it was.
No,
But
that would be great. And for folks who maybe like myself have a pile of teenagers and we're looking at what do we do after high school, I think that those three gentlemen were really articulate and able to talk through like some of the benefits, some of that sort of like intrinsic goodness about what it is to work with your hands, to be in the field, to learn all kinds of cool shit. So if you've got somebody who's interested in that, let them listen to that episode. These are all publicly available, so share it with your neighbor, your cousin, your uncle, whatever it is. All right. Some other updates before we get out of here. On the IT and HR side, I know you've asked if folks have requests for equipment for that office move or work from home, get them in now. But maybe leaning toward HR a little bit more. For those who are in the office and have been hearing about it for a while, we're working on this new piece of software that will let us integrate our HR snazzy things a little bit more cleanly. It's called Workday. We got a team that's hyper focused on that, and holy cow, they had a short timeline to put this together. And knock on wood, going to be done with that first major rollout in early September. Also, in that sort of HR IT blended space, Andrew, have you ever heard of AI?
Absolutely.
You're young enough that you would have.
Yeah.
What do you
I
use
didn't
it
go to
for?
college. I was not in college with AI, which I would have loved. But
What do you use it for today as it relates to work?
I'll use it a lot for, let's just call it editing scope letters to make sure I haven't grammatical errors, whether the formatting fits. I'll say it. I use it for questions. No longer Googling it. You just send it into chat. Not ChatGPT, but Abacus now.
Yeah.
At the beginning of when I started ChatGPT, but Abacus now, and you get an idea with an electrical answer, right? If it's a question about
because it knows who we are.
Correct. And it's constantly reading these questions and taking it in and absorbing maybe some of the responses and building out its own, let's call it brain, as to what the correct answer is or what we might be looking for. So I'll use it a lot for that. What is this word?
Yeah.
Anything. You can use it for anything. Build me an Excel spreadsheet, right? If you're not somebody who's sufficient with Excel, but you know what you're looking for, type it into AI and just say, hey, I want an Excel spreadsheet with this many columns that does this for me. XYZ. And it'll spit out a spreadsheet for you that pretty much does exactly what you need with those formulas in there. It's such a time saver.
So the gal who's been kind of the mastermind behind that, Nima Kania, has really helped set us up to make it accessible for those who are using like Hunt laptops, desktops, and things like that. If you have any questions about like how to start leveraging some of that stuff, send us an email. We'll get you hooked up with the right technical folks. But frankly, it saves me a ton of time in some of the work I do and some of the problem solving I try and chase down. Andrew, it works for you in writing letters and things like that. Let's leverage that. And, we've invested significant time and effort into that to make sure it knows who Hunt is, but it's not allowing the rest of the world to kind of see our secret sauce. So
I think even just email responses.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you have an idea of what you're looking to say, but you can't think of how to say it, or you're maybe timid of how you're going to respond because it might be a little aggressive, type it in and so you can read it, right? Somebody else wrote it, not you. So you can be like, yeah, that does sound a little too aggressive. I'll take that back a notch. So it's a phenomenal tool. Can encourage people to use it more within reason. Yeah. If that makes sense.
And for me, last kudos that I want to toss out here today. Recently, I've had a chance to be voluntold. I'm going to do some additional training. And Kat and CISO in our HR group, she puts together and leads a bunch of different training subjects for individual contributors, managers, wildly experienced folks, and relatively new folks. And without fail, she can take topics that are forgettable, I'm going to say boring, really kind of basic, and somehow they are like way more engaging. The way that she guides those, the polls, the interaction she drives with the audience, it's fantastic. Kat is doing an amazing job. Love going to her trainings, even when it's topics I don't really want to. So, with that said, Andrew, I'm out. Anything else on your mind?
No, nothing. Enjoy your Tuesday to everybody. Thank you for listening to Spark Plugs Installment 3. And again, continue to listen to Beyond the Breaker podcast.
See you all another time.